Everything begins and ends with God. Just like the history of the Davao City Grace Gospel Church Incorporated, it all started in the mind of God and was realized through the ministry of the Things to Come mission. In the early 70s, the American missionaries, Pastor and Mrs. William Heath, arrived in the Philippines as commissioned by the Things to Come mission to establish churches that believe in the teaching and preaching of the Word of God, rightly divided. On August 17, 1975, at a rented house along Magallanes Street, the first worship service of the Davao City Grace Gospel Church occurred. It was attended by Pastor William Heath and a small group of grace believers, including Pastor Denzo and Pastor Llewellyn. Pastor Mario Indino was designated as the first pastor of the new congregation. On April 12, 1977, Pastor Solomon Improso and his wife Jean arrived in Davao City to replace Pastor Mario Indino, who was leaving for the United States with Pastor and Mrs. William Heath. Pastor Solomon Improso conducted the first BTC, or Bible Teachers class, a 3-month teaching course to train members to become Bible teachers. Among the graduates were Mr. Valerio Cordovan and Mr. Bernardo Pisidas, who later became a pastor and is currently the pastor of the church. On April 24, 1985, the church was able to purchase a lot along Sandawa Road, SIR New Matina, Davao City, through the financial donations of grace believers and churches in the Philippines and the United States. On October 2, 1985, Pastor Solomon Improso was taken home before his pastoral term expired. But the incident did not stop the church from growing. Pastor Carlos Autida took over the pastoral care. On October 17, 1987, the construction of the new church building along Sandawa Road began. In September 1989, from a rented house in Magallanes Street, the congregation moved to its new church building in Sandawa Road and held the first worship service on September 24, 1989. Since then, prayer meetings, Bible studies, worship services, and other ministry functions were held right here in this church building. The Lord has been so good, and He has blessed the church with highly dedicated pastors, leaders, and members who for 40 years have worked hand in hand to carry on the high calling of God. Among the pastors and workers who serve the Lord here were Pastor Calixto Fermantes, Pastor Zozimo Alivio, Pastor Sofronio Ayop, Pastor Judelo Gules, and Ma'am Rose Araneta. Today, Davao City Grace Gospel Church Incorporated celebrates 41 years of God's great faithfulness revealed in His providence and care.
Created using Powtoon.